So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chance video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about how Zeus Network keeps casting a whole bunch of crazy and nutty people. By the way, could you guys make sure that you have your post notifications turned on for my channel? I feel like YouTube hasn't been pushing them out, so just make sure that they're on so you can always be notified when I post. So Zeus Network has become the new hub for reality TV shows. I feel like once upon a time, MTV and VH1 were literally top of the class for the go-to networks, giving us the most ratchet, meme-worthy, and classic reality television. But Zeus Network has definitely taken over by being one of the fastest-growing streaming services, hosting this cesspool of toxic content, ghetto and ratchet personalities, and all in all, casting crazy people. I would like to shout out to the channel The Unpopular Party. I love his content, and he has a great breakdown on the history of Zeus Network. I will link it and pin it down below because I think it's a very good overview of how Zeus has catapulted into the conversation discussing top reality TV. So definitely go check that out. Now, it was recently announced that former child actor Orlando Brown will be joining the cast of Zeus's show called Bad Boys. So I've never watched Bad Boys. You guys have to tell me if it's worth watching. I did watch the Bobby I Love You show, but I think I only watched like 4 episodes and never finished it, but it was very entertaining. I'm definitely still in the process of watching Baddies West, and I've watched all 3 seasons of Jocelyn Cabaret.
Now, neighbors, I don't know if Zeus Network is trying to give y'all drama or trauma. Apparently, Orlando Brown is supposed to be joining Bad Boys Season 2. I don't know if y'all saw Bad Boys Season 1, but that was like I Am Jonathan, Milan Christopher, etc. Very influencer-y. But what do y'all think about Orlando Brown coming to Zeus, to a Bad Boys house? Like,
it is being reported that Orlando Brown is going to be joining the Bad Boys Club cast on Zeus Network. And I just want to say that if they casted him, they are definitely going to be exploiting this man because he has a lot going on and he's been having a lot going on for years now. He was literally arrested 2 months ago for a domestic violence incident. Apparently, Zeus bailed him out last Friday as part of some type of deal. I guess we're just going to have to see if he is going to be on this show or not, because right now Hollywood Unlocked is just saying that a close source has told them this.
The same way that white people, especially white women, go hard for Britney Spears, black people, black men, we need to have the same energy for Orlando Brown. He's basically been exploited his whole life. He exposed some real stuff about you know what. Next thing you know, he's getting arrested. And then next thing you know, he's posting these videos from this Truman Show looking neighborhood saying that, you know, he was kidnapped, that they're watching him. We ain't heard from this man in at least maybe 2 months. And then out the blue, this is what we hear about him, that he's going to be on Zeus. And we all know Zeus pays their employees in drugs. So that's the last place he need to be at. And is this even really him? Because I feel like the first thing he wouldn't do is hop on Zeus.
Now, I'll be honest enough to say that all of these people who are a part of these shows are doing exactly what their job description entails. Do crazy, ratchet, and memorable things for the sake of drama and accumulating ratings for each of these TV shows. And I'm not going to say that I think that that's okay, because I don't. However, the cast members are essentially fulfilling their jobs either by who they truly are or under the motivation of the check that they're receiving. Zeus Network, on the other hand, is an actual business, meaning there's a CEO, there's a president, and there's probably hella other employees that work under the company. So it's a huge network where I'm sure has a decent amount of people who produce, direct, cast, hire, do outreach, promote, do graphic design, and just about every other necessity it takes to upkeep the business. And because this is a multi-person factory, it's Zeus who actually creates the battleground to exploit all of these people. Orlando Brown has been in the media for outlandish behavior for the last decade, it seems. And unfortunately, where it looks like he was getting a little bit better or getting his stuff together has actually been a disappointment, because he's still constantly getting arrested or trending for saying and doing nutty behavior. But what I realized that it's the degenerate and worldly behavior that Zeus sees as a cash cow, and they've been doing a good job at it and not caring about the backlash, the repercussions, or the people like me who will call them out for making an industry out of this. Granted, they're not the first and they're definitely not going to be the last, but they're definitely the most relevant right about now. I think reality TV show personalities have always had a little bit of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs within them. I mean, that's what makes them worth watching on TV. But I think Zeus goes past the line with casting people that have way more sinister issues with them. Personally, I feel like MTV and VH1 and other television networks would never allow the same behavior that is on Zeus's shows. Like, Krishan Rock would have been fired a long time ago, and just about everybody on the cast of Jocelyn's Cabaret would have been fired a long time ago too. But because Zeus is not on TV and is basically a paid subscription streaming network, they can get away with putting more toxicity out and allowing toxic people to remain employed by them. Crazy, isn't it? So I wanted to share my views on Zeus constantly casting these nuts, bolts, and loose screws, and what type of effect it actually has. So I broke this video down into one overall main talking point. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my one and overall main talking point is toxicity TV is a gold mine. It's no surprise that reality TV doesn't have the best reputation. I mean, you are putting a whole bunch of strangers, in most cases, in a controlled environment for weeks or months at a time, restricting them from daily life activities and giving them an ultimate goal to complete while under the guise of reality TV. And with traditional reality TV, there's usually more of a thesis or an end goal for all of the shows, whether it be prize money or winning over somebody's love or simply showcasing an exuberant lifestyle to an audience. However, with Zeus Network, I really don't believe that that's their motive. I think their motive is simply putting out toxic TV and to be heralded as the most controversial TV network on streaming. And I'm not gonna lie, they've definitely met that goal. With some of the individuals that they have casted to their shows, I see this pattern of bringing in people with either a crazy track record or a boatload of controversy tied to them. And I'll give them a few points because I think for some people, it is interesting to see them rehash their careers. Jocelyn Hernandez was a reality TV staple for the longest, and after being fired from Love and Hip Hop, she kind of fell into oblivion for a little bit. But Zeus Network kind of allowed her to resurge her relevance, and I'm not gonna lie, she did. People also forget that Black China was really the beginning of Zeus Network. Her show was what put them on the map, as we hadn't seen Black China as much until she did that show. But when you look at Black China's record within pop culture, a lot of the things that she has done can be considered nutty. From the way how she went about having a baby with Rob Kardashian, to when she was swinging that stroller at an amusement park at somebody, to her promoting a skin bleaching cream, the list goes on. And I actually don't even dislike Black China. I feel like she's really an OG in everything dealing with urban pop culture and social media. But let's be real, she's definitely been on some severe nut shit so many times. But Zeus saw that, and once they implemented that viewpoint and process into their business system, they saw the success and ran with it. I mean, Usain Bolt, Olympic gold medal, record breaking, ran with it. So now you have somebody like Krishan Rock, who has been so controversial, and she's literally the mascot for Zeus Network. I could say Natalie Nunn as well, but I think Krishan is more of the mascot, and Natalie Nunn is like the cheerleading coach. They exploit everything about Krishan and play on her insecurities, her dismantled mental health, her yearning for attention, her toxic and abusive relationship, and everything in between, and they capitalize off of the toxicity of it all. Like I said earlier, I am watching Baddies West as it's airing at the moment, and I couldn't help but notice something that was brought up on the second episode. One of the cast members named Stunner Girl, who is an artist out of Cali, has a very, very disturbing past. Apparently, she and another female rap artist held somebody captive in a cage for days and left her in a completely unlivable condition, didn't give her food, and also had men antagonize this person. So I did see a good video on YouTube from another creator named Golden Baby. I will also link that down below. I think she did a really good job explaining the situation and has great content on her channel surrounding reality TV as well. So if these allegations are true, I think that is beyond wild that Zeus overlooked Stunner Girl's background and casted her for the show. I am still really unfamiliar with the story of all of the violence and the female rap beef that was taking place in that situation, but after watching Golden Baby's video, I can tell that all of the women involved definitely had some very turbulent tendencies within their own personalities. Even if it was years ago, if somebody has not been able to change or just do a little bit better than they used to, how does that not scare or alarm Zeus Network, even in the littlest bit, especially for the safety of everyone else? Hey, side note, shout out to the Zeus Network security guards. They definitely be earning their keep. I know it's sometimes common for people to want to give grace to people who have committed crimes or just have a bad history within their behavior or attitude, but I'm sorry, the circumstances surrounding the allegations are way too wild. Stunner Girl is a red flag, and I'm just gonna say it, it's probably because of her light skin and pretty privilege that she's been able to kind of get a pass for her involvement in that entire situation. And I especially didn't like how Natalie Nunn was almost downplaying it, doing one of those awkward laughs about it and brushing over how serious the situation actually was. It is so crazy because I don't necessarily dislike Stunner Girl's character at the moment. Mind you, I haven't watched this week's newest episode, but I can't excuse the role that she played in her past, because if she's on a show like Baddies, then there's really no measurement of change. But of course, Zeus Network loves that. They eat it up. They literally French kiss the idea of cashing in on toxic people and their embedded corruption. And all of these people are grown, so I don't make excuses for them. But I do do think that when you're under contract with a big business like Zeus Network, you eventually realize that a lot of these people act the way that they do solely because it has become their job. And it's actually really sad when you think about it, because it probably went from an opportunity for exposure and then negatively transitioned into the infiltration and exploitation of somebody's life. All of these people could walk away, but Zeus Network is their lifeline at the moment. Zeus Network gives them the biggest boost into what a lot of these people are looking for, which is attention, money, and being able to promote the agenda that violence, controversy, and toxicity is the answer. So I guess I'm stuck between finding the happy medium, because on one hand, of course, all of these people are entertaining and make great reality television on the basis of being controversial and toxic. But on the other hand, Zeus is an enabler that is restricting all of these people from any type of rehabilitation to being better people. And it's not necessarily Zeus's job. I mean, it isn't their job at all. But I think that because they know they are dealing with the nuttiest of all nuts, I mean, the peanuts, the cashew nuts, and the almond nuts of them all, I hate to see this pattern being repeated again and again. Most of these individuals are already a few eggs short of a dozen in some way, shape, or form. And you can tell because their behavior is not exemplary of what a normal person would do. Even for the normal people that are down with throwing hands, a lot of them wouldn't react in the way that some of the cast members do. Maybe it's because there's always security guards to stop things, or maybe it's because they are motivated by the money. But one thing's for sure is that Zeus's intention is to capitalize off of the nonsense. There's nothing I can really say to stop Zeus from repeating this business practice, but I do predict that eventually people will get tired. I feel like even watching Baddies West, people are tired of how Krishan acts. They are tired of her sneaking people in her fights, they're tired of her being babied, and they're tired of her being the antagonist. But everyone on the cast and on Zeus Network seems too scared to hold her accountable and get into it with her at all. In one of the recent episodes of Baddies West, I feel like everybody was just trying to walk on eggshells around Krishan Rock, as well as just kind of let her do what she wants to do. I don't know why they treat her like that. She is not God. All in all, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, I do enjoy some of the ratchet content because it is a guilty pleasure to sit back and say, hey, at least it's not me. But I guess the empath in me does worry and wonder about the aftermath that Zeus is enabling within all of these people. Bringing in a character like Orlando Brown is just not a good idea. He's literally deteriorated in front of the world, and I think it's actually too far for Zeus to use him for ratings. And one of the most interesting parts is when he's on, he's actually on. Like, if you've seen an Orlando Brown interview when he's in his right mind, he has a lot of things that make you think and make you realize that the industry is a very wild place. However, I just think he's too hot and cold, and Zeus is going to pry on the downside to him versus showcase the good side or even try to get him any type of help. Again, it's not their responsibility, but it still is kind of sickening to watch this method of casting the most antagonistic people for the sake of entertainment. There's always going to be a little bit of ratchet in every reality TV personality, but I think Zeus uses the ones who have accelerated levels. Of course, people are going to tune in, but Zeus Network has to be aware that eventually people will tune out. I feel like they're creating monsters because compensating debauchery has them laughing to the bank, and if people don't get tired, something that's even worse than that is how a lot of these cast members will eventually become burnt out. Right now, for the most part, everyone is young and popular, but once they realize that they've stretched themselves thin in terms of personal development, mental stability, and frequenting hostile environments, it'll be a little bit too late. And unfortunately, Zeus will remain superior because they call the shots and they pull the strings. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, make sure you stream my song Ballin'. Link is in the description box. Stay tuned for more music. And lastly, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. 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 Chioma. I said 34 B cup, 30 in a deep cut, 20 bad bitches QTM. Yeah, we up. 16 tops and bottles, man. I went and got my teeth done. 10 minutes with him, now his 15 minutes is cut. Never ever make a nigga think that he up, cause you a queen and I'm a queen. Now shout out to Latifah. Security in the back with a racket like Serena. Ex nigga crying, laugh at him like a hyena. Like, damn, what you saying, daddy? Yeah, I know I got a fatty pussy. Talking to him, talk my shit, yeah, I be getting catty. Play with me, I bet you won't. Fatty on his chest and now he calling me a stethoscope. Pink fit, look, think I'm looking good, incredible. Cutting niggas off, I'm coming through like a semi-colon mansion in the motherland. December come, that's where we going. Body hot, my niggas frozen, niggas put my picture up and yeah, they go and get the lotion. And I'm the one they check up on, feeling so lucky, getting green like a leprechaun. Run a few errands with the bag with the checkers on it, push it on the floor. cheese and keep it whistle. Yeah, he call me macaroni. Niggas on my line and now they begging me for matrimony. Detroit, nigga, touchdown and we to the Coney. Tatted up, big body nigga, and he grabbing on me. Cheers to my success.